Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Today's video is my winter book haul. I decided that I was going to stop doing book hauls every single month because they're a little bit repetitive to film, but also they take up one spot in my schedule and there are a lot of videos that I would like to do. Plus, you know, I don't always buy a lot of books every month and I was feeling a lot of pressure to constantly buy books so that I had a good book haul every month, which is ridiculous because then I end up with loads of books that just sit there and don't get read. So I decided to basically do seasonal book hauls, which is basically me doing a book haul every 3 months. So yeah, that is how book hauls are going to be from now on. So I'm going to be showing you guys the books that I picked up within the past 3 months. First off, I'm going to start by showing you guys the books that I was lucky enough to be sent by publishers to review. The reviews for these are already, or will be, up on my blog. If you guys want to check them out, I'll put a link to my blog down below. First up is Viper by Bex Hogan. This is the first in an epic new fantasy trilogy set on the high seas, so of course, you know, right up my street. Our main character Marianne has been training to be the Viper for her entire life. The Viper is basically the defender of the people of the 12 realms, and the Viper protects the king as well. However, in order for her to become the Viper, she is going to have to find the strength to defeat her father. He is the reigning Viper. He is corrupt, he is merciless, and he prowls the seas in his warship, leaving only pain and suffering in his wake. I am really excited to dive into this one. I can't wait to get to it. They had me at New Fantasy Trilogy set on the high seas. That was literally all I needed to hear. You guys will be able to buy this one on the 18th of April if it sounds like something that you want to read. Enchante by Gita Trellis. It is Paris, it is 1789, and our main character Camille is providing for her younger siblings by using petty magic. But when it fails her and her younger brother runs off with all of their savings, she sets her sights on a new scheme. Using dark magic to transform herself into the Baroness de la Fontaine, she heads off to the court of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. But la magie does have costs, and it is not long before she loses control of her secrets and revolution erupts. You know, Marie Antoinette, Louis XVI. That kind of revolution. Oh My Gods by Alexandra Shepherd. Helen is half mortal and she has just moved in with her dorky dad and self-absorbed older siblings, who, you know, happen to be the ancient Greek gods living incognito in London. However, she is gonna have to rein them in before they blow their cover and her chances at a normal social life. Greek gods, modern setting, what is not to love? The Orphanage of the Gods by Helena Coggan. 20 years ago, the gods were all but wiped out in a bloody revolution. Their children are now imprisoned in an orphanage, and any who show so much as even a little sign of divine power vanish mysteriously in the middle of the night, never to be heard or spoken of again. Hero manages to do the impossible and she escapes, but it is at the cost of her sister. She is determined to get her back, but she's going to have to avoid the murderous guardsmen currently hunting her down. Plus, you know, not all of the gods are dead and they have a plan for her. I have started reading this, but I've only had time to read the first chapter, but I am suitably intrigued to see what is going to happen and where this is going to go. Stain by A.G. Howard. This is a high fantasy gothic fairy tale inspired by The Princess and the Pea. We have Princess Lyra. She is incapable of speech or sound and she is cast out of her kingdom of daylight by her aunt. Luckily, she's saved by a witch. Not so luckily, she has her memories stolen and she has been raised as a boy called Stain. Meanwhile, in a rival kingdom, the Prince of Thorns and Night is dying. In order for him to break his curse, he needs to wed his true equal, who is, you know, the Princess of Daylight. But as Lyra rediscovers her identity, an imposter princess prepares to steal her betrothed prince and her crown. We Are Blood and Thunder by Kezia Lupo. In a sealed-off city, Lena is convicted of being a mage and she is sentenced to death. Her only way to survive is to trust those that she has been brought up to fear, those with magic. Meanwhile, on the outside, Constance is determined to find her way back in. She escaped years ago before her powers were discovered, and now she will not hide who she is any longer. But a powerful and terrifying storm cloud descends over the dukedom, leaving devastation in its wake. More than just a thunderstorm, it is a spell, and the truth behind its casting is more sinister than anyone could imagine, and only Lena and Constance hold the key to destroying the spell. This one sounds completely freaking epic, okay? It sounds a little bit different. I'm intrigued by the sealed off city. I have heard from people who have already started reading this that it is really good, and I'm excited to get to dive into it. It is out this month, so I'm determined to get to it this month. But yeah, this sounds completely freaking epic and I am so ready for it. Night Chaser by Amanda Boucher. Captain Tess Bailey is the galaxy's most wanted and she and her crew are on the run, pursued by a tyrant who wants them dead or alive. That one offer of help comes from Shade, but he has unclear motivations. Speaking of Shade, he has arrogance, charm, and that little something that makes you want to kick him. With the dreaded Dark Watch closing in, what they don't know about each other could get them killed unless they start trusting each other. I'm so here for some kind of space rebels / pirates. Oh yeah, a few of you guys are going to be quite excited by this one. Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. It is 2380 and the graduating class of Aurora Academy are being assigned their first missions. You have no idea how long it took me to say Aurora Academy, Jesus. Tyler is the star pupil and he is so ready to recruit the squad of his dreams, but he gets stuck with the dregs that nobody else would touch. We have a cocky diplomat, a sociopathic scientist, a smart-ass tech whiz, an alien warrior, and a tomboy pilot. Unfortunately for poor old Tyler, they aren't his biggest problem. That'd be Aurora G-Lynn O'Malley, the girl that he rescued from interdimensional space. She is a girl out of her time and out of her depth, and the potential catalyst that starts a war millions of years in the making. Tyler's squad of losers, disciplinary cases, and misfits are going to be the galaxy's only hope. I have not read the Illuminae files, I'm not going to lie, but I do completely love Jay's Nevernight trilogy. Obviously, that is fantasy. This is YA, and it is sci-fi. But you know, you had me at Squad of Losers, Misfits and Discipline cases, and I have a feeling it's gonna make me want to buy and binge read the Illuminae files. No doubt. Along with the ARC, I also got sent a really cute little pin that says Aurora Legion Alpha. I'm sure you guys don't need me to tell you that this is out in May. I think everyone is well aware after Gold's Brigade. Anyway, Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. Kieran is the bastard orphan claimed against his will as the long-lost son of a treasonous prince. Far from living the dream that the storybooks would have you believe, he is practically a prisoner at the mercy of his new family's ambitions and power plays. But you know, Kieran isn't your typical hero. He is not destined to save the Empire. He is destined to destroy it. This one is one of my anticipated reads, so I was so stoked to get an arc of it. I am currently reading it, okay, and I am enjoying it and I am loving it. It has really great storytelling. I'm loving the narrative. It's making me laugh and it's making me chuckle because there's a nice level of snark. It's just that, you know, it's a chunky book, and as you can see, the type is very small and very closely spaced together, so it's taken me twice as long to read 50 pages than it normally would have. Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the third book in the Witchland series, and this one focuses a little bit more on Aidwan. We have Vivia. She is trying to decide how best to protect her city against an attack. Safia is helping Vanessa root out treachery at her court. Merrick is suffering again, and Aidwan and Isolde have teamed up with Al to try to stop the destruction. But in order to do that, Aidwan is going to have to confront his father and his past. This is so freaking good, okay? I am still not over the ending for this. Jesus. The Near Witch by Victoria Schwab. This is Victoria's debut book, but it has been out of print. Lexi has heard 3 truths for her entire life. The Near Witch is an old story told to frighten children. Don't listen to the wind calling at night because, you know, it's lonely and it would like some company. And that there are no strangers in the town of Near. But a strange boy appears outside of her home, and the next night, children of Near start disappearing from their beds and suspicion falls on him. The hunt for the children intensifies, and so does Lexi's need to know about the witch who could be more than a bedtime story, the wind seeming to speak through the walls at night, and the history of this nameless boy. I am so stoked that they have finally re-released this and started printing it again, because, you know, trying to get hold of a copy of it before they did that was really difficult. Lord of Secrets by Brianna Tientz. Magic is poison, secrets are power, and death is complicated. Ray the Outlaw Wizard is friendless, penniless, and on the run from the tyrannical Mages Guild, all while searching for his imprisoned grandfather. Things honestly can't get that much worse for him, but then a fugitive literally drops into his lap and gets the both of them arrested. But Gray soon realises that runaway slave Brix could be the key to his grandfather's release. He just needs to, you know, break out of prison, break into an ancient underground temple, and avoid killing himself with his own magic in the process. I'm so here for a prison break in an ancient temple. Those were all of the books that I was sent by publishers to review, and I am so grateful to every publisher that sent me a book. I got sent a lot of excellent reads and a lot of reads that I have been looking forward to, and ones that I wasn't quite aware of but that sound like they're going to be completely brilliant. And there are a few nice surprises too, like Aurora Rising, which I wasn't expecting to get. This next section are all the books that I bought myself throughout the months of December, January and February. First up is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, surprising absolutely no one because you all know I got my grubby little hands on this as soon as it was out. This is the Waterstones exclusive Rune edition, which is just so pretty. It's so pretty. This is the third and final book in the Dark Artifices trilogy, which is set 5 years after the end of the Mortal Instruments. And we follow Parabatai, Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne at the Los Angeles Institute and their forbidden love, with a huge splash of fairies, murder / ritualistic killing, warlock sickness and a looming battle. Obviously I've just recapped for you roughly what occurs throughout the entire trilogy, because if I tell you anything about this, it's going to be a huge spoiler. It does do a lot of setting up for the wicked powers as well, and not always entirely subtly. The Crimes of Grindelwald by J.K. Rowling. This is obviously the screenplay for the Crimes of Grindelwald film, which, you know, I still haven't seen yet. But because I have the screenplay of Fantastic Beasts, and because I worked on the film for this, I really wanted to get this. I have heard mixed things about the film, so I want to watch it, but I'm also kind of wary to watch it. The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White. If you've read Frankenstein, you probably know and remember Elizabeth. This book is all about her. We follow Elizabeth as she ends up at the home of the Frankensteins and meets Victor Frankenstein, the unsmiling, solitary boy with no friends. He is her escape from her misery, and she does everything that she can to make herself indispensable. And pretty soon she and Victor are inseparable. But her new life does come with a price, and soon Elizabeth's survival depends on managing Victor's dangerous temper and entertaining his every whim, no matter how depraved. Meaning the monster. It really... Yes, young Jay, hello. Kirsten's books. Can we not, please? Oh my god, stop. And I really loved Kirsten's Now I Rise trilogy, and it made her an author by author for me. But not only that, Frankenstein is one of the classics that I do really enjoy, so I was super intrigued to see this and to find out that it was going to be Frankenstein but from Elizabeth's point of view, and I'm expecting Kirsten to have put her own excellent twist on this. These Vengeful Souls and These Ruthless Deeds by Taryn Shanker and Kelly Zekas. These are the second and third books in the These Vicious Masks trilogy, which is set in England in 1882. We have a historical setting and characters that have X-Men style powers, and in the first book our main character Evelyn is searching for her missing sister with the help of the dashing Mr. Kent and the reclusive Sebastian, all while trying to figure out her newly discovered power. But of course there is more going on, and there's a shady guy who wants to use the powers and experiment on people. But yeah, Annalise Rising by Brenda Drake. Just before he dies, a stranger gives Annalise a list of names and her own is on it. She and the man's grandson Marek are determined to unlock the mysteries of the list. As it turns out, Annalise is a descendant of the god of death known as a riser, and because of that she has the power to raise the dead and control them. Unfortunately, she and Marek find themselves planted in the middle of a war between the gods who want to, you know, raise an army of the risen, and she has to figure out how to save the world from herself. I completely loved Brenda's Library Jumpers trilogy, and this one sounds like it's going to be just as original and different and fun. Rule by Ellen Goodlit. The king is dying, the heir has been murdered, and there is a rebellion brewing in the east. Luckily, there is one last option before the kingdom descends into rulerless chaos. 3 girls with 3 deadly secrets. Zaffi, who is part of a band of travellers and would do anything to protect them. Akela, raised in the Eastern Reach and surrounded by whispers of rebellion, and Ren, who is serving as a lady's maid and is scheming her way out of the servants' chambers. All 3 of them have done things that they could be in big trouble for, so when the king summons them, they're kind of expecting arrest and execution. But instead they learn the truth that they are his illegitimate daughters, and one of them has to become heir. The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. This is the sequel to Truly Devious, in which a girl arrives at a prestigious boarding school with one goal in mind: to solve the mystery from the 1930s in which the founder of the school's wife and child were kidnapped. The child was never found, the perpetrator was never caught, and the only clue was a mocking riddle full of the methods of killing someone signed by Truly Devious. Unfortunately, Truly Devious decides to make a return in the present day. King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. This is Nikolai's very own book. You guys might remember him from the Grisha trilogy. Enemies are gathering at Ravka's borders, and Ravka is desperately in need of money and alliances, along with a way to stop the rising threat to the once great Grisha army. But poor old Nikolai has some dark magic within him that unfortunately grows stronger every day and, you know, threatens to destroy everything. This book is so good, you guys. It's so good. I missed Nikolai so damn much. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is a new novel set in the Remnant Chronicles universe in which a reformed thief and the young leader of an outlaw dynasty lock wits in a battle which may cost them their lives and their hearts. I still have not read the Remnant Chronicles, even though it's sitting on my TBR. But I was informed that I don't have to have read the Remnant Chronicles in order to read this, and it was one of my most anticipated books of last year. All I need to hear is Legendary Street Thief, and I'm like, give it to me now. And finally, the last book on my haul is a manga, and it is The Promised Neverland. I picked this up within minutes of finishing the first couple of episodes of the anime because the anime was that good. Our setting for this is an orphanage, and the kids absolutely love it there. They can eat well, they can run about, they can play, and they all get adopted by the age of 12. Unfortunately, 2 of the kids discover the dark secret behind their home. So that is the end of my book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you've picked up recently, or if any of these have caught your eye. I post book and manga related content every Friday, so for more similar content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next video.